What's going on, guys? Niko here, and in this video I'm going to show you 25 production tips to take your music to the next level. We're going to cover songwriting, mixing, mastering, and more. Let's jump into the demo that I'm working on. We're going to break it down entirely and show you everything I'm doing. Here's the song we're going to walk through today.
You drive me crazy, but all I see is you. And you can't make me do what you want.
Jump in, I'm giving away 10,000 melodies royalty-free. Comment down below melody mastery, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and let's get into it, guys. How did I create this demo? It's not done yet by any means, but I want to show you guys my thought process while going through it. So the first production tip I have for you as a producer, if you want to get your music heard, you have to get right to the point right away and give away the good stuff. What do I mean by that? So there's a couple things going on here. The main vocal hook, You Got Me Going Crazy, right from the intro. I lay it out and I jump in with a powerful chord progression to capture your attention. Guys, there's like 40,000 songs released a day or something insane like that. You need to have a hook right away. And if you watch my ads, you want a catchy melody, I got you. It's memorable, it gets in your head right away. So listen.
You drive me crazy.
And we have the melodic hook right in the beginning as well.
You drive me crazy.
We're capturing your attention right away. We're jumping right into it. And that's my first tip I have for you guys. You want that first point to be very special to get them hooked and have them listen to the entire song. Jumping from there, guys, if you've noticed something that I'm doing, I'm always adding something every 5 bars, every 4 bars right here. You notice from 1 to 5, you can see there's some stuff going on here. And I'm just gonna play right from here to here. So the two things that I'm adding just to start is I'm adding the piano rhythmic patterns right here. In the first bar, you'll see, and I'll highlight it, we just have regular piano and then we have piano rhythms. And then up here, you'll notice we add in this clap right here. So we're adding in a couple of things as we go. And as we continue going right here in measure 9, first 4 measures, next 4 measures, right? You've probably heard this production tip before. It's not anything that's extremely new, but it's something that I always try to think about when I'm making music, and so that I don't really get writer's block. Now, jumping into this really catchy melody right here that I really liked writing. Now, the third tip I have for you, and I talk about it a lot, and this is a songwriting tip, is octave jumping. So on our piano here, and I'll pull it up real quick, what we have going on, and I'll put it on my marimba, is we have these white keys and they repeat over and over again, and these black keys. These are 12 keys total, and they repeat up and down the piano. Now, if you look at the C3 right here and you look at C4, they're actually the same note, but they're an octave higher. So the pitch is higher or the pitch is lower. When you're writing a melody, it's always great to start with octave jumping. Now, we're in the key of F minor here. Right in the beginning of the melody when I'm writing it, I'm doing an octave jump. So I'm going here, or even higher. And that right there is awesome because basically what we're doing right away is we're creating an open melody. A lot of melodies are too close together. Like a lot of times you want to keep it much more open, and that octave jump allows you to do that. It's in a lot of the top melodies, guys. Use octave jumping. Now, the next thing I want to go into is melodic repetition. The melody right here, we actually have it. So if you notice, this number 1 right here, and then number 3, they're actually the same exact melody as part of this entire melody. Now, when you go to number 2 here, and number 4, they're also kind of the same, except in number 2, we listen. So we basically go down and then up, and then we go up and then just down, right? But on measure 4, what we do is we actually change up the rhythm because if you listen to the end of measure 2, it's just one note. Right? And this is awesome. And then in measure 4 right here, we change up the rhythmic pattern. So we just go down the scale. And that's my next tip for you guys, is going down the scale. Whatever key you're in, A major, you can always go down the scale, and it's going to lead a lot of times to a good melody idea. So if you ever get stuck, just go down the scale. If I'm just playing in the key of F minor, I don't really know where to go. Just go down the scale, right? That is another one. I'm looking at my notes here just to see. Layering the melody throughout the song. So this is a really good one, guys. Now, if you notice, this is really my pre-chorus and my build. And again, this can be really used in any genre, guys. This is a dance song, but all this stuff can be used across any genre. If you see here, this is my melody bus, and I have all these different melodies. I'm going to solo this real quick. Actually, I'll solo just the marimba. Now, I start off the song with the marimba, but if you listen to the drop here, I've added a bunch of different other melodies. And I've layered it and layered it and layered it on top of each other right here. Piano. This pulse thing. Whoops, I got excited there. This string. This thing is very distorted. This violin. And the marimba. And all together, and notice now, certain parts of the song, I have, only 4 of the things laid out, like in the builds. Like in the build, for example, if you listen to this. Right? So it's really cool what's going on there. Now, another thing to keep in mind in our build section here is what I'm doing with the melody. As we get more and more tense and tense and tense, I'm kind of repeating it, but I've taken this one riff right here, like the do 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 right here. And I guess I forgot to change one of them, but if you look right here, I just keep repeating the same thing, the same thing, same thing, same thing, right as we're about to go into our drop, because that builds the tension, and then it allows for the melody to really just play through the full thing. So if you listen, awesome. So now that we went through our melody, let's talk a little bit about our chord progression. So I have our chord progression right here. It's an F minor, D flat major, E flat major, and then C. And that's a lot. So what I've done is I've actually jumped into my MIDI pack here into the key of F minor. I'm going to go to my single chords and just show you guys the simple triads of what this is. So I'll drag it over here. We have an F minor chord. Then we go to this D flat major chord. We go to this E flat chord. And then we actually go to a C major chord. So guys, a trick right away, and I'll get to what that is in a second. If we just listen to this right here. What the first thing I suggest you do is you really spread out these chords. So add, another octave up here. You really want to spread out these chords and make them more full. Now let's listen. So another production tip is using 7th chords. Now I'm going to substitute this D flat major chord right here, and I can create the chord using one of my chord strategies that you'll find other places on my channel, or I can simply just go into my MIDI pack here, which I also suggest that you get, and get a D flat major 7th chord or even a major 9th chord. I'm going to just go with a major 7th chord here and throw that in. Let's jump this up. Great. Now, the last part of it, I need a catchier rhythm, right? This rhythm is not a rhythm at all. It's just simple, full bar chords. So what I'm going to use is the law of 16. So I talk about this in terms of arrangement, but also in terms of rhythm. What I can do is I can actually bring this out to start with rhythm. And if I just drag them here, like that, Now you're like, that's so many, right? What if I'm like, okay, I'm gonna delete the 4th and the 5th of every one. Right? So I go here and I find the 4th and 5th one. It could be a little hard on the eyes. Let me close this here. Whoops. So I deleted the 4th and the 5th. Now let me delete these two right here. It's all the same one. Let's listen to this. Right, and I'm kind of just like messing around here and experimenting a little bit. And this is something that I suggest everyone do, because you can make some pretty cool progressions. Now again, it's not as catchy as this rhythm I have right here, and I'm actually coming out with a rhythm chord pack, so you guys should definitely check that out. Now, awesome. So that's just the chord progression, right? So I showed you guys right there, and you can get all the free MIDI packs and the free chord packs and get the, Niko's MIDI pack, because again, I suggest getting that again. But now really jumping into some of the mixing and mastering side of things. So now that we covered some of the songwriting, I want you guys to understand how EQ is working from drop, pre-drop to drop. So right here, if I just play this real quick. So guys, whenever you want to create crazy impact through any part of your song, using EQ to your advantage is very, very helpful. So all EQ is just the frequencies, as you saw I pulled up there on your song. So what we have going on here, this is the stereo. This is where all these like lines of audio and all the plugins, they all send audio right to this stereo bus where it goes through all of these plugins, right? Like it goes through my mastering chain. So what happens is when you have the EQ right here, if we just look at the EQ, you'll notice I start to filter all these frequencies up here downwards. So you'll see it go like this. And you'll see this part go like this. And that's basically constricting all the EQ so that when the drop hits, you get all the frequencies. So you get hit with that wall of sound. That's what we want, right? So if we're going in here, right? And you really get hit with that wall of sound. Now what I'm also doing is I'm lowering the volume a little bit. That's my next tip right before the drop. So you see here, I'm just going down about 2.4 dBs. We're slowly decreasing the volume. We're slowly bringing the frequency curve to be a little bit more tight and getting rid of some of the higher and the lower frequencies. So we have that massive pump right when we get to the drop. And we have a lot of things that come in the drop that have like, lower energy. We have our kick drum, which has a lot of bass, as you can just see right here. Let me play it. We get all that low end, we have bass, and we also have our sub, and our sub and kick go together. Right, so we have our sub right here. And we didn't have that lower information earlier on. Plus we're adding some higher information like this hi-hat right here. We're adding the hi-hat, we're adding the clap, we're adding a lot of other different things. Now, something else that I want to show you guys is filtering, and also using a different type of filtering plugin. Let me show you guys my pianos right here real quick. Endless Smile. So what I'm doing as this goes into drop, let me just solo the pianos. I can filter them, which is kind of what we're doing with the EQ curves, and I can also use this Endless Smile right here and slowly increase it, right? So and that filter rise right here, I don't really know what you call it Endless Smile rise. That automation is what I want to call it. It's a really, really nice thing to add in here. So we're adding that in. I added in other parts as well. I'm pretty sure I do something similar with my snare. Let me see. I actually have a filter on it. I don't think I added it in yet though. But if you listen to my snare, we're slowly bringing and cutting frequencies. And it's really something that we do going into the drop. That's how you get that really nice, impactful drop. So something else I want to go on later in the song is actually a call and response. So when I had the vocal, I'm trying to think two things. So here are two tips, right? So call and response can be in like your melody where you have a call, like something that you play something. Let me just play something. And then the response is. But what if we have call and response with the vocals, right? And this is about thinking about your audience and thinking about what they're going to want to be singing on repeat, right? So this vocal was really cool because the singer goes, let me just play this part. There's a part where she's like, oh yeah. So you drive me crazy. If we think about those words, just the words by themselves.
You drive me crazy. Oh yeah. But all I see is you. Oh yeah.
You drive me crazy. Oh yeah. Because blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah? Like, oh, yeah. Like, serious. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it from the vocal perspective and in the audience, right? I'm thinking about the audience throughout my entire song. I want to think of the audience dancing, clapping, like feeling the music. And that's something else that you guys can always be doing, right? To really feel the music here. So that covers those tips. I want to also go over repetition notes. So whatever key you're in, if you're in the key of F minor like we are here, there's very subtle things that I have going on in the production that really makes it a little bit of higher quality. And that's something right here that I call the consistent note. So I have a marimba and I have it pretty filtered. So like if we just solo it, and what I'm doing is there's two things. It's just repeating the F and it's bouncing around a little bit. I have this tremolo effect, which is just like, basically if you have your speakers in front of you, there's right and there's left, it's panning back and forth like this and adding movement to my entire song. So it sounds really cool, especially in the drop. It's basically going back and forth. And then I have this string right here, which is playing the F note because we're in the key of F minor, and it's just playing in the background. If we listen to the string, the drop with the string, it's just adding that nice high energy throughout our song. And it's a very common thing to use in dance music and other genres with that consistent note or the note that's playing consistently. And this, I'm pretty sure I have this is also tremoling, so it's going back and forth as well. And that's really good for our ears, right? You want to think about the listener's ears and just like stuff they're not noticing, but you're noticing, right? Okay, so then compression, right? So I'm gonna talk a little bit about mastering right here. So I'm not per se a mastering engineer. I have mastered tracks that have for other people and stuff like that at a certain time, but it's not my focus now. But a couple things on the master chain, like where we send all of our audio, there's certain things that go on that we should always take into consideration and throughout the rest of the song as well. So like compression, for example, when I was first starting music, it was really, really hard for me to hear it. I couldn't really hear anything, and I'm not paid at all by this company. It's called Sound Gym. They are literally incredible. I did them for like an hour a day for probably 3, 4, 5 months, and my ears could hear everything. So if you can't really hear what I'm showing you, you should definitely train your ears. And producers say, oh, just you produce more and that's how you train your ears. No, Sound Gym is incredible. They haven't paid me a cent. It's completely me just loving their product so much that I want to mention it to you. So if I just take all of my stuff together, I want to glue it all together, and that's what compression can do. And it's a tool for us to do it. I'm not going to go too much in depth in this video, but what I'm doing is I'm sending all of my audio to a couple different compressors. So if we look right here, I'm going to play the song with the compressor and without the compressor.
You're driving me crazy, but all I see is you. And you can't let me do what you want to do.
So basically what the compressor is doing is it's kind of taking the parts that are really loud and it's lowering them a bit, and taking the parts that are quiet and bringing it up a bit for just a very quick summary of what it is. But I suggest that you have some sort of compression on your mastering chain. I actually have two of them. I have the Glue and the Shadow Hills. If you look right here, I'm reducing it. I'm trying to reduce it about 1 to 2 dBs on both of them. And again, I don't want to go too much into that, but the other thing I do want to mention is the flat curve. And this is one of my my mentors, Blake, who runs mastering.com, another awesome program. that I took. And basically, right here, if we look at our drop, like the big part of our sound, we want to have a pretty flat curve with our kick going a little bit higher. So if we look right here, like if I get rid of my bass, for example, you'll notice a pretty big like drop around this area right here. And when you want your songs to sound full, a flat curve is awesome, right? So that's what I suggest right here. Let me just pull up. I'm trying to find my bass. Here's my bass. Mute my basses. You just notice like the curve is not strong here. So when I add my kick, which has a lot of bass information, when I add the rest of our bass here and then add our sub, that part is nice and full, which is very important because a lot of times you're wondering why does your song sound bad or unprofessional. Sometimes a lot of times, like especially when I was like getting started in production, I had way too much high end because like when you're a beginner, the brightness sounds great. And a lot of brightness, what happens is that's why your ears ring a lot, because of a lot of brightness, it really can hurt your ears and fatigue your ears. So I don't suggest having that. Now again, reverses, another back to like kind of songwriting type stuff. If we look right here, what I have in my production is something called like a vocal reverse. So whereas it's right here, it's basically just parts every 4 bars. I'm adding these transitions to make my stuff a lot smoother. So if we just listen to the effects by itself, and we'll listen right here. That vocal reverse is really nice element to add, going from, every 4 bars to introduce something new. You also try to transition from bar to bar. I love using, this is all on Splice, by the way, guys, or Echo Soundworks, who I love his company as well. And again, none of these guys are paying me to say any of this. I'm just showing you guys what I use. I love Echo Soundworks. His stuff's awesome. Shane's a good dude. And yeah, so like the vocal reverses here and the cymbal transitions are making the transitions nice and nice. And as you go to the drop, we start adding in more risers and a lot of more effects, right? So a couple other things on the drum side, I kind of just had these so we could jump around the product a little bit. Whenever you have a kick, which is the low information, it really depends on the song, but for the most part in EDM, you want the kick to be in the key. So we're in the key of F. So very simple tip, I'm using the F right here. Now, another thing in dance music a lot of times is this hi-hat. It's like the offbeat hi-hat is what I call it. So if we just listen to the two together. I always love adding in the hi-hat, even if you're in different genres. What the hi-hat does is it really brings the high-end energy here. And when we have EQ, a lot of times you're like, oh, why does my song not sound good? A lot of time you can be adding different types of EQ information with percussion. Like if we look at this and then we look at the clap EQ, we're really filling out this high end with this high end with percussion. So that's another great tip I have for you guys. You guys should definitely have your kick and key and always try to use the offbeat hi-hat. Again, it goes kind of in between your kick. If you notice the kicks right here, it's like halfway through each of your kicks. Another great rhythmic pattern to have in your music. And the last one is OTT. Guys, OTT is a compressor that you can basically throw in anything and it'll sound better. It'll sound more full. And all the pros that I work with use OTT, and all of my mentors that are some of the best producers in the game that I've paid for lessons, they use OTT. So it's a free thing. You can go download it for free. Extra Records is great. Go get it. And the last bonus tip, I think we're at number 26 now, is you got it. Go grab my MIDI pack. It's massively discounted. It has all 12 keys. It'll help spark your inspiration. And yes, I had to plug my own product in somewhere. So that concludes this video. That's a lot of tips for you guys to have. I really hope you enjoyed the video and got something out of it. And again, guys, these are the tips that are going to help you take your music to the next level. I'm happy to really share them with you throughout my journey of being basically a beginner in production about 2 years ago to spending almost every single day in my DAW and working on my e-commerce companies with the MIDI packs and the courses and everything else that we provide for you guys. So that concludes this video. Comment down below Melody Mastery, like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what else you guys want to learn. It's definitely a longer video, but all the tips in this video should help you become a better producer. So again, that concludes this video. Go grab the MIDI packs down below, the courses, everything else. We cover all this, guys, and I really want to help you out. So long-winded video. It's very late. It's time for me to go to sleep, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.